What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date, keep you informed with everything that the government does, and by God, they do a whole lot of stuff. Now, there's not a whole lot of news going on right now, so I came across this clip, and it sparked something in me. I'm like, let's go ahead and talk about this, because the government censorship in this country, the censorship industrial complex, as it is colloquially talked about nowadays, since the Twitter files came out, has been absolutely crazy. I still can't believe the Biden administration, once it was found out that they were colluding with social media companies, coercing them to shut voices down on social media, banning people outright, deleting posts, right? Like, they weren't forcing these people to do it. They were just suggesting they would do it. And the left's defense for this is, well, there was no crime committed. No, but there was egregious First Amendment violations committed daily. We know for a fact that the White House, DHS, DOJ, DNI, all of these companies were having weekly meetings with the social media platforms.
You're correct. In fact, isn't it true that leading up to the 2020 election, Twitter had weekly meetings with not just the FBI, with DOJ, with DHS, with DNI, to conduct this unconstitutional censorship by surrogate? We know that because of the Twitter files, correct?
Correct.
And it was not just meetings, not just censorship of stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story. We also now know that the FBI paid Twitter over $3.4 million of taxpayer funds to censor these stories before the 2020 election. Is that correct?
That money was paid. Twitter confirmed that.
And the Twitter files are just the tip of the iceberg, because there's so much more.
So, of course, the government, anything it does, uses taxpayer dollars. But that just that's like salt in the wound, if you will, to know that the government uses taxpayer dollars to shut down the people that paid in those taxes. So we are paying out money to the government for them to shut certain people down. And their defense for this is crazy. You guys, like, even people on the left, like, they come up with excuses for everything. The Democrats, I've said it thousands of times, they're insane. And the insanity of these people just knows no bounds, if you will, because they're not stupid either. These people know exactly what they're doing. They know how to manipulate words, how to get in there and make you think, oh, well, hang on, but let me think about this, right? Like, Dan Goldman is a good example, and Jim Jordan shuts him down. That's what we're about to come up. I'm about to show you this clip that absolutely blows my mind, the level these people are willing to go to, the twists and turns in logic that they are willing to put out there to try to cover up what the government is doing and try to prop up what the government is doing and saying it's okay for the government to censor Americans. Check this out.
I want to bring up another example, which was actually the focus of an entire hearing on this topic, but has not been mentioned once today. And that is the email from Clark Humphrey to Twitter related to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s tweet about blaming Hank Aaron's death on the COVID vaccine. And this was the center of the Republican case up until today, and now we're moving on. And I wanna just stress why. Clark Humphrey wrote, wanted to flag the below tweet, and I'm wondering if we can get moving on the process for having it removed ASAP. Oh my goodness, coercion. That is censorship. It's some industrial complex. But you know what the problem was? It wasn't taken down. It wasn't taken down. Twitter received that email from the White House and did not act on it. Mr. Seligman, is there possible to have coercion when someone does not do what the other person asks?
No.
Now, we've heard a lot on the other side of the aisle. I think my friend Mr. Stubbe talked so much about March 2nd, all the emails to Amazon and trying to ban books. Well, we were not allowed to enter into the record some of the testimony from the employee who received those emails at Amazon, but I'm going to go through this transcript because this employee was asked about that email. Even though you anticipated that you might be asked to remove content when you had a live conversation with Mr. Flaherty, you in fact were not asked to remove any content. Question? Answer, that's my recollection, yes. So I just want to be clear, to your knowledge, did anyone from the US government, including Mr. Flaherty or Mr. Slavitt, both of whom are witnesses here, ever coerce Amazon into removing content from its platforms? No.
So, get that. That's the excuse that they're going to come up with? They didn't take down one post, right? Like they're going to bring up examples of when they were asked to take something down and they didn't take something down. How about all the thousands of examples where they actually did? Ignoring the fact that they actually had people banned, had posts deleted, had books, they deprioritized books based upon the ideology of the book. Right? And they're using the excuse that, well, these people, they didn't take this specific post down and they didn't ban this specific person. Well, it's not really about that. The fact that the government even asked them to do it in the first place is the problem here. It's not the problem whether they did it or not. It's the government saying, we don't like this ideology. We don't like what this person said. We don't like this person being able to speak freely online. Can you look into this, see if it violates your guidelines, and take this person down and get them deleted? And the government was outright doing that to some people. This just blows my mind, the level these people will go to, the type of mental gymnastics that they have to do to bring up a logical excuse as to why they should allow the government to contact social media companies and have people's voices shut down. That is mind-blowing to me. Like, how can they just brazenly get away with this, right? They're not even secretly trying to do this. This is all public emails. You can go and get this information in a FOIA request, right? They're not even trying to hide it. They use all these crazy excuses as to why, and they come up with as to why you should be shut up, right? Why your opinions aren't wanted around here is basically what they're getting at. And it's just crazy. Once again, mental gymnastics. Check this out.
So you cannot have a First Amendment violation when a private company is making its own independent decisions, as every single company as part of this investigation did. So what is this all about? It's not actually about proving a First Amendment violation. What the Republicans want to do with this committee, because we've had hearing after hearing after hearing about some bogus First Amendment violation by private companies, is they want to chill the government from actually interacting with the private companies as we come upon an election in November of 2024. Russia interfered through social media in 2016. Russia tried to interfere in 2020, and you can bet Russia is trying to interfere in our election in 2024, and the only way that these social media companies can know that is by being provided with information from the United States government and their law enforcement investigations. And if that can't happen, then Donald Trump and these Republicans benefit because Russia will help them. That is why we hear, and that is why this is bogus.
So here we go, folks. Russian collusion, right? Oh, the Russians are going to try to interfere in the election. Oh my God, we got to stop them. What are we doing? Well, hang on though. See, that to me is just a distraction. Once again, mental gymnastics. Why is the government shutting down Americans' voices? Why are they having Americans banned? Not Russians. We could, yeah, go ahead. Stop the Russian collusion by all means. We don't want an outside country interfering in our elections, even though the United States attempts on every single election in countries all over the damn world to interfere in their elections, but they don't want Russia or China or anybody interfering in our elections, right? Oh, we got to stop it, big bad. Hang on. So if you're worried about Russian collusion, Russian interference in our elections, how come Americans are being shut down? How come their opinions are being shut down. Yeah, they can never explain that one. Dan Goldman, by the way. They can never come out and actually say why these people's opinions were turned off from social media. It is not the Russians are going to interfere in the election. That is some lame brain made up idea. No. Of course, Russians do try to interfere in the election, but that does not give the government cover for shutting down Americans' voices, shutting down opinions of the opposition party. How come they're not shutting down the same amount of voices from the left? You think the left is impervious to Russian disinformation? No, they're not, as a matter of fact. But how come the vast majority of everybody they were trying to shut down on all these social media platforms were conservatives? Do you think Russia is going to just target conservatives for disinformation? No, they're going to try to target everybody. But, it's just funny because Jim Jordan, and this is where we're going to get into a little bit of back and forth, Jim Jordan does a pretty good job at putting Dan Goldman in his place. Check this out.
I appreciate the gentleman yielding. Chill the government? Oh my God, that's almost as crazy as what Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said in the arguments in front of the Supreme Court when she said to the Solicitor General from Louisiana, "Counselor, your position has the First Amendment hamstringing the government." Well, this is not about. This is not about. I know the gentleman from New York is sharper than that. I know that Professor Zawicki. But you need to cite the rule. If not, we'll proceed. When he comes back, we'll make sure he gets back.
Mr. Chairman, will you just yield quickly for a brief response?
My 5 minutes. No, it's my 5 minutes, and when I'm done.
Okay, so you're going to attack me and not let me respond?
No, I said I know you're smart.
You said my name.
I was complimenting the new.
You said my name. You said I know you're smarter than that because I did not say anything about the First Amendment being used to chill the government. I said you in this committee are trying to chill government agencies. That's very different.
We're trying to protect the First Amendment. We're trying to protect the government from chilling American speech.
That's funny. It's like he forgets what the purpose of Congress is. This guy is a congressman, and he is willing to allow the federal government to chill American citizens, to have their voices deleted off of social media to protect our democracy, right? This is just all outright insanity. It's ridiculous to the highest level. And I'm sorry for the little clip going on right there. There was a spat back and forth about who can talk and all this stuff. It was like a whole 2 minutes of pretty much nothing. I had to cut out from that clip. But let's continue. Let's hear what Jim Jordan had to say.
Let the record show the gentleman from North Dakota has returned to his spot on the committee. Professor Zawicki, let's reference the email that Mr. Goldman brought up. And he said that the RFK Jr. tweet wasn't taken down. But I think this whole chilling effect is proven by this email, because there were two sentences. The first sentence said, "Wanted to flag the below tweet, and I'm wondering if we can get moving on the process for having it removed ASAP." So these guys, actually Ms. Humphrey, who works with them, said to Twitter, "Take this thing down. We don't like what RFK Jr., our political opponent, subsequent political opponents saying, take it down," right? And Mr. Goldman says, "Oh, no problem, they didn't take it down." But there's still a concern about chilling speech, right?
Exactly right, Mr. Chairman. And that's exactly what the problem here is there's this obsession with protecting the government's free speech rights. But we need to be worried about protecting people's rights. We need to be worried about protecting my rights. We need to be worried about people's rights to speak and to hear information that is relevant to their lives. And so if we're concerned about chilling speech, we should be concerned about chilling the speech of private citizens through the government overreach.
Now, I want to ask you about this. The next sentence. So, take down this tweet ASAP. Mr. Goldman says, "Oh, they didn't take it down, so there's no problem." But the next sentence says, "And then, if you can keep an eye out for tweets that fall in this same genre, that would be great." That's the real chilling impact. "Oh, we caught you. We don't like this tweet. We don't like what it conveys. Take it down." They don't take it down. But now, in the back of their mind, they're saying, "Oh, you know what? I better be on the lookout for anything else, or I'm going to get another call, another email. Mr. Flaherty's going to call me. Mr. Slavitt's going to call me and say, 'What the heck are you doing?' He's going to be outraged. He's going to pressure us," which all happened. So the second sentence is the chilling effect in that email. Is that right?
Yes.
This is just ridiculous. Oh, and let's go to the Amazon communications, because this was speech that was changed. This was content that was changed at the request of the guys in the Biden administration. The impetus for this request is criticism from the Biden administration about sensitive books we were given prominent placement to. So we're going to create a new do not promote class for anti-vax books. So they demoted these books. So a direct result of they said it themselves. The impetus, the catalyst for this is the guys at the White House. That's just not just chilling. That's actual action taking place at the request of government to limit speech and who gets to see it.
And I would add, this isn't the government providing public information about issues of health. This is the government engaged in an ongoing secretive process that we've only discovered through discovery in that case and through the hard work of this committee subpoenaing these private actors, a secretive scheme to target named individuals for suppression for speech. And we don't even know if it's going on.
Yeah.
That is a big difference between the government expressing its opinion and targeting people secretly to remove their speech from the public forum.
Take down this tweet ASAP, the White House.
Yeah, so they're actively telling them, take this down. Whether they do it or not is actually irrelevant. The fact that the government is asking these companies to do this is one of the most egregious violations of the First Amendment that anybody can commit. And people are still getting behind Joe Biden when it was Joe Biden's administration doing this, right? Like we saw this all started during the Trump administration. But it wasn't the White House, folks. It wasn't the White House doing this until after Joe Biden got into office. And as a matter of fact, they started doing this. It was the DOJ and the FBI started this right around just before the election. So all this disinformation and all these people getting shut down and all this BS, the Russian collusion and all this crap started right before the election. I wonder why. That's just amazing. They were so worried about Russian interference with the damn elections that they are willing to shut down Americans' voices, American citizens' voices on taxpayer dime. Just blows my mind. And the Biden administration absolutely ramped this up once they got into power and started paying these companies. All this paying them money blows my mind. Like they're getting paid by the government to shut down voices to the tune of millions of dollars. What? Why? Like, where do they get off thinking that they can just go to these social media platforms and tell them, hey, we don't like this speech? Why don't you look into shutting this person down? And the social media companies actually did it. And the Democrats' defense is just because they didn't shut down every single voice or every single post when requested. That gives the government the right to go ahead and do it, folks. And you got congressmen, people that are supposed to be representing you in Congress, that are actually trying to prop this up, saying it's okay. Those are supposed to be the people that are there on behalf of you, and they are working with the federal government to shut your voice down. How the hell do you love that, folks? But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this point. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.